Hey there and welcome to my Sudoku app. In this video I will present my project, go over important highlights in writing the code and demonstrate the use of the app. Hope you'll enjoy. The first part I would like to present is the system architecture. Overall, the architecture of the system is modular and follows a clear separation. This separation makes the app easy to maintain, test, and modify, as each layer can be worked on independently of the others. I will present the client-server architecture using two illustrations. First, server side. As you can see, the server side has several important layers. Algorithm. The algorithmic part of the application is responsible for solving Sudoku puzzles. I have created two classes that implement the backtracking alg interface, bitmask-algo and dfs-algo. These classes use backtracking to solve Sudoku puzzles, but use different approaches to the backtracking algorithm. Controller. The Sudoku controller class is responsible for handling various requests such as solving a Sudoku puzzle, deleting a puzzle, and retrieving a puzzle by ID or difficulty level. Service. The Sudoku service takes in an instance of the algorithmic class as a parameter and uses it to solve the Sudoku puzzles. It also interacts with the data access layer to retrieve and store Sudoku puzzles. Data model. The Sudoku template class represents the structure of a Sudoku puzzle, with an ID, difficulty level, and a 2D integer array representing the puzzle itself. Now I will present the client side. As you can see, I used the MVC pattern. The model defines what data the app should contain. In my case, the model contains the solve Sudoku function, get template by difficulty function, get all templates function, and delete by ID function. The view defines how the app's data should be displayed, all the fxml files. The view receives the data to display from the model. The controller contains logic that updates the model and view in response to input from the users of the app. Now, I will explain about the important code snippets in the project. First, I will explain about the algorithm part. My interface is called backtracking alg. Backtracking is an algorithmic technique for solving problems recursively by trying to build a solution incrementally, one piece at a time, removing those solutions that fail to satisfy the constraints of the problem at any point of time. There are two classes that implement the interface. I will explain about dfs-algo. DFS, depth-first search, is a search algorithm that explores as far as possible along each branch before backtracking. In this implementation, DFS is used to explore all possible solutions to the Sudoku puzzle. The algorithm starts with an empty cell in the grid, tries to fill it with a value from 1 to 9, and then recursively moves to the next empty cell. If it finds a value that violates the constraints, no repeated numbers in a row, column, or submatrix, it backtracks and tries the next value. Let's check one of the tests in this section. For example, valid grid solution. This test case checks if the dfs-algo algorithm solves a valid Sudoku puzzle. The algorithm solves the puzzle, and the output grid is compared with the expected solved grid to check if the algorithm works correctly. Now, I will introduce the code snippets from the server side. In my data model folder I have the Sudoku template class, which is implement serializable so that I can save it in a file. In my DAO folder you can see the interface IDAO and a class that implements this interface, and there I have created the Sudoku template.txt file, where all the Sudoku templates are saved. They include Sudoku board, Sudoku ID, and Sudoku difficulty level. In this class are all the operations that can be done in the file. Now, I will go to the service folder where all the logic of the application, getting all Sudoku templates, deleting a Sudoku pattern, solving a Sudoku board, etc. I transferred the service class to the controller according to the open-close principle, and in the controller I implemented the logic itself. Now let's access the server folder. You can see that it is running on port 6000 and listening to the client's requests. Now, let's move to the client side. You can see here in the driver folder that the main method calls the launch method to start the application. The onboarding.xml file is in the view, like all the other XML files. In the part of the model I have the class called Sudoku templates model. This class provides a way to interact with the client class to manage Sudoku templates. Now we will move on to the controls. The onboarding controller defines the behavior of an onboarding screen. The grid controller defines a controller for a Sudoku game. The app settings controller displays a list of saved Sudoku templates, allowing the user to view the ID, difficulty level, and grid for each template. The user can also delete a template from the list. Let's move on to presenting the user interface. First, I will show what happens when we try to run the app but the server is not running. I will try to generate Sudoku board without running the server. Oh, what a shame. We get an error. Therefore, first of all, we will run the server. Now, let the fun begin. On the opening screen, you can see that we have two options, Start or Settings application. First, I'll demonstrate what happens when we click on the Start button. On this page you can generate Sudoku board according to level of difficulty, and then by clicking the Solve button the Sudoku will solve itself. Let's demonstrate. I will choose an easy difficulty level to see how each time the board is ranked according to the difficulty level. By clicking on the Solve button, the Sudoku board I selected is solved. In order to clean the board, click on Reset. Another option is to write the Sudoku you want to solve on the board, and then by clicking the Solve button, the Sudoku will solve itself. Please pay attention. If a user enters an invalid Sudoku board, then an appropriate message will be issued to the user. Now, we will go back and select App Settings. On this screen, we can see all the Sudoku templates, which, as mentioned, contain the Sudoku board itself, the Sudoku ID and difficulty level. On this page, we can delete any selected Sudoku template by clicking the Delete Template button. Hope you liked it. Thank you for watching.